Hi, we're continuing again. We're at Housetops with John Wijngaards, and he's going to tell us a little bit about the website, Women Priests.
Right. Well, Women Priests was founded about 12 years ago in response to Rome's decree Ordinatio Sacerdotales, which told us that the ordination of women is totally, definitively excluded for all time, and so on. Now, at that time, I looked around on the internet and I found that there was very little good academic material to show that this position by the Roman Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith is actually untenable. And so I then slowly began to build up the argumentation with the help of a lot of materials that has been published by others, and using some of my own books of the time, and also because lots of people showed interest, we were finding out what their interests were, what they needed to be either affirmed in or educated in. And I must tell you a few things about our website. We have a vision of very high academic standards. That means we don't want to publish anything just because we like it or it seems to be in favor of our campaign. We believe that we are best served by the truth. And so we have actually at the moment about 1,000 texts, if I'm not mistaken, about sacred scripture, giving a lot of background information on why certain interpretations of scripture texts are mistaken. And we even have a couple of courses, many people are not aware of that, but a new course which is how to interpret scripture correctly, where we work through about 20 of the major problem texts and show why the traditional interpretation is totally wrong. In the same way, from tradition, because the church always says, you know, this has never been done, women have never been ordained. Of course, it's not true at all. There is a lot of evidence, and our strongest argument, we think, lies in the field of women deacons, because we have so much material showing that these women were ordained in an ordination rite that was completely parallel and almost verbally identical to the one with which the men were ordained deacons. Now, nobody has ever denied that those deacons in the past were validly ordained. Then certainly the same applies to the women. And we know now, my calculation is there must have been at least 50,000 women who have served in the eastern section of the church during the first millennium, when that part of the church was still Catholic, the Byzantine part of the church. And so over the years we have identified more and more of these women by name, and we have the full details at the moment on our website. You'll find that we have published about 40 classic books and hundreds upon hundreds of classical articles on the ordination of women. I have not even mentioned theology. We have the whole history on our website. There is a timeline also which is very much related to the theology of what happened during the time of the fathers of the church. And then, especially in the early Middle Ages, when a lot of theologians pontificated about women and were floundering about trying to look for arguments to see why on earth are women not able to be priests. And unfortunately, this had two catastrophic consequences. One was because theology and church law was so closely affiliated at the time that a lot of their thinking became part of the official body of laws, the corpus juris canonici in the church, which has lasted practically down to our own age. But at the same time, the thinking of theologians, because they were the so-called classical period of scholastic theology, that influenced the thinking of all the theologians that followed, including the popes to our day. So that whole story is there, documented with, numerous texts, because our aim is at every stage, to be able to show that the position of wanting women to be ordained is absolutely firmly rooted in Scripture and also in the real mind of the Church, if you look through the history of the Church. I've not mentioned, let's say, the question of the devotion to Mary as priest, which has always been very strong, which shows that people knew that a woman could be a priest, because Mary was so closely associated, with the sacrifice of Jesus. So I welcome everyone to come to our website, and we try to explain things in simple forms, for people who are not academically trained, but at every stage they can go through and get more and more explicit, detailed and academic explanations of whatever we say. Everything is documented as far as we can, up to the hilt.
Yes.
We also have the arguments from people who don't agree with us, and a lot of their literature is also on our website, because we believe people should be able to see the argument from both sides. So everybody is very welcome, and please write to us if you have suggestions, because we improve all the time by proposals and ideas that people suggest to us.
Yes. John, I wanted to tell you how you inspired me, especially at the Women's Ordination Worldwide, the first one in Dublin in 2001, July. And your book, you spoke about your book, and I remember reading it several times to show that there really were the church laws did not substantiate the ban on women priests.
I'm delighted.
So you're one of my heroes. I want you to know that.
Thank you very much, Janice. I'm delighted.
Thank you. All right. It was good chatting with you this morning.
Yes, thank you.
Many blessings.
Thank you.